There, you're clear.
All right, great.
Yeah. Am I loud? How do I sound to you?
You sound great.
Okay, great. Wow, that's good. That's a great start.
Wow.
All right. Even though you began the call with, "This isn't right."
It almost seems too easy.
Well,
which is always suspect.
Well, it's not too easy. You think the fight with what's happening here? Okay, you think you're gonna, you're a world champion. You can fight all the fights, but when it seems too easy, that's when you really have a beast on your hands.
Yeah, when Mickey's like, I don't know, we'll just fight a bunch of bums for a while and keep breaking in this dough, I guess.
Mickey's a smart businessman.
He's got a plan.
Yeah, and nobody was listening to him. A better plan than Polly.
I gotta wait for the podcast to get into Polly, oh my. Let's just start recording.
I'll just count it down. All right.
We can make our way through this.
Make our way. This is gonna be a good time. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2. Red button. Record.
All right.
Here we are.
I didn't mean make our way. I meant run and jump through the surf.
Through the waves and feeling good. I'll let you wear my shorts if you want to for your big match.
I was not prepared for the shorts wearing where they seemed like gimmick shorts. I was like, oh, I guess that is what he wore in those movies, but it seems like I'm sure they're the shorts he wore when he was murdered in the ring by that Russian. Because I was like, oh, are these the shorts you wear with a giant American flag top?
Those are murder shorts. They become murder shorts. You're right.
Oh,
but for this installment of our Rocky, they are sort of the good luck charm, right? That helps him.
I don't know. Rocky's pretty much just a big sad sack through most of it.
Well, this is Rocky 3, the heart of Rocky, right?
I was really trying to think, and we don't need to talk about it when we record. I'm not sure that I ever saw Rocky 2.
I know. I was trying to remember where 2 fills in. Well, I'm assuming that a lot of the flashbacks, because we lean heavy on the flashbacks, well, which I like because we need it.
I love how this opens, and I remember it was a long time ago. This was in 2015 that we did Rocky 4.
Yeah.
But Rocky 4 did the same thing, which was just like previously on Rocky, and they showed it at the end of 3. So I really was so happy we saw the end of 2.
Right, and so you see, 2, I'm thinking, is where he begins to take off, and he begins to maybe find his footing. I'm like, what was 2 about again?
Well, 2 is where, because in the original Rocky, it's a wonderful underdog story, but in the end, he does not win. Right. He loses to Apollo Creed, but he got his shot. He's Rocky. It's a wonderful redemption story or whatever. And then in 2, he finally beats him. So then, and I think he gets like endorsement deals.
Well, clearly we see all of that. I love seeing the rise of Rocky. 3 is also it's the heart of Rock, but it's the rise of Rocky, right? Boy, he goes from like nothing to something. And Adrian's all out there in her fur coats and loving life and wearing her pearls to the boxing matches.
I want to know how much Talia Shire was paid for these movies to basically look concerned through most of it. That's it. Just you will have one scene where you're allowed to talk. We'll give you one scene where you can say some things, and it'll be a big scene. Like it's when she talks to him on the beach. It's emotional and it's
a lot of shouting.
That's great.
It's a lot of shouting on that beach.
For most of the movie, she's sitting in a chair
with a worried look,
watching him fight.
Yeah, with a concerned look. I do like, though, how he takes her everywhere. Like, the kid stays behind with I don't know who, but she comes out to California for the training. But she's because she and her influence on Rocky is a big part of who he is, right?
Yeah.
And she's the one that's really with, I don't want to skip ahead, but she's with Mick for his final. Oh, no, Rocky does get to share the real last
she's
moment.
Basically, like, in charge of an old man dying.
Yeah.
Like, that's her responsibility is like, you don't watch this fight. You have more important things to do.
You tend to the dying man. I like, anyway, we'll get there.
We will get there.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't have much to I don't know much to say before we start. I don't know. Should we just...
Let's just start. Let's just say who we are. That's you, right? Are you going to tell us who we are?
I think I'm introducing, and then I hope you took good notes. Most of my notes are punching. Well,
there was some punching.
Punching, Rocky wins, or Rocky loses.
Yeah. Or swollen eyes. Ouch. Ooh. Those eyes.
It's great makeup. I am often curious, like, did this movie ever get nominated for Oscars for makeup?
Well,
I know it's not, it's not some crazy sci-fi thing where they're sticking goop and like extra arms on people, but it's pretty great makeup work to just... When he gets beat up the first time by Mr. T, and it looks like someone just hit him in the face with a bag of ketchup and blood all over his eye, but his eye's all swollen. It looks amazing.
Yeah, and we get up close when he's crying into the mic and his big swollen eyes glistening.
I have to tell you one huge regret I had.
Yeah.
I did not watch this with closed captions.
Oh.
Because when he has his face in Nick's body, he's like... I wanted to know what any closed captioning person would type in that moment.
Like sad Italian garble.
Sad.
He's like, gabagool, pasta fazool.
Oh my God, amazing. All right, I will start, and then we can start.
And then the starting will happen.
The starting happens. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. We're an 80s movie podcast, and every other week we watch a different movie from the 80s, and then we talk about it. I'm one of your two hosts. My name is Doug McCambridge, and with me, as always, Jamie Lorello. How are you, Jamie? Does this speak to your heritage? I mean, a huge boxing family is what I'm referring to.
Oh, right. Well, no, I definitely grew up with the Rockies, which we've talked about because of Rocky IV.
Well, I'm assuming, I'm going to say 93% of our listeners probably may have missed our Rocky IV since it was the fourth episode of the podcast.
Oh, right.
And then about 8 people were listening.
Well, so there you have it. There's a reference, folks. If you want to go back in time and you want to hear our Rocky IV. It was a jolly time. I remember that Rocky IV. It was our early days, but it was one of the times when we were like, this was really fun. This was really...
I mean, Rocky IV is a goofy movie in that this movie takes itself quite seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
It's got a good story to tell, though.
Right, yeah. I'm not saying that the Hulk Hogan parts aren't pretty funny, because they are. But this movie is a self-serious film where I think, and I could be wrong, I understand Cold War, blah, blah, blah. Rocky IV is really silly. And it is all, I'm going to say, boiled down to how silly it is when Rocky's working out and Paulie is listening to the Chipmunks sing Christmas songs on headphones. Like, that's what that movie is. This isn't quite that same movie. But yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen Sly fighting in a ring.
Well, but the good news is, and most of our listeners know this, the reason we're covering this, besides that it's a movie and it's from the 80s, is over time we have discovered a special holiday that only this podcast, I believe, holds to be true.
I like how we discovered it. Like we just were wandering through the woods and we found it under a bush. We're like, how has no one discovered this yet? Exactly.
And we're lucky. I'm very, very grateful to have this holiday in our lives. It coincides with Thanksgiving. And it's what we like to call Sly-skiving.
Yes.
And so...
and this one comes out the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I think our past few has been like the week before. Maybe some have been the week after. It's a lot. I understand. You just put yourself in some sort of food coma and you come out of it to suddenly Sly-skiving the next day. But it just... The gifts keep on giving.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And I think that's the most important thing. So if you have not, I'm going to say, dug through our archives and, Nighthawks? I almost forgot about Nighthawks. With he and Billy D. Williams running around when he wears
that wig at the end.
Spoiler, as a woman at the end of the movie. That's amazing.
It is.
It is really a treat. I will be sad. I think last time I said we might have 4 3 or 4 more of these left.
Okay.
I mean, we haven't gotten to Tango and Cash.
No, we have not.
And I told you there's 2 more Rambos.
Yeah.
And then there's
80s.
one where he plays soccer. So, yeah, I think there's 4. You know what? Wait, there's one more. There's 5.
We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
Yeah. We'll be okay.
You're just looking for a reason to worry. Sly will not have us worry. Mm-mm.
No, although this does close the book on Rocky for us in this podcast.
Yeah.
So we will never, unless it's some strange bonus episode, we're never going to talk about 1, 2, or 5?
I think there is a 5. There might even be a 6. There's one with his son. And then there's I think, a
Creed. There's those Creed movies now.
Oh, that's a whole different spin. I think there might be 6 altogether.
Rocky Balboa.
Which is him now. That's more recent, right? I had not seen that one.
I don't even know.
I think there's one that a very older Stallone did.
I think I mean.
And then there's the one his
anything
son
after
did.
5, I think, is a very old Stallone.
True. Well, in this one, they say, what is he, mid-30s? Because his career, I think they said 32
hang it up.
or
Mid-30s, that would be shocking because I think boxers are done by 30.
That's a lot of punching to the head. I mean, I know it's just a reminder when you watch this. When I was like, oh, gosh.
Even Mickey's like, you should have died 3 times. Like, you honestly shouldn't even be here right now talking to me. I should be having this conversation with a ghost.
Yeah. Mickey's got a lot of knowledge that gets overlooked.
And I love how Rocky just puts his arm around him and is like, come on.
Well,
you'll do it one more time, right?
Right. And he gets him to. He's like, I mean, for you. Okay, fine. You keep living in the spare room. You got that fancy spare room with the chandelier and the gold wallpaper. Come on, Nick.
Those scenes, it looks like it was in the set of, I don't know if you remember this. This was something I saw on HBO quite a bit. Yeah. The other Sly Stallone movie, Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like a set from Oscar.
I do.
It looked like they were in a room from the 1930s.
He moves on up quick. Well, not quick, but to see Rocky go from the slums, like we saw him in Rocky 1, and I'm assuming if we remember, he's still not to where, he's still...
We don't remember Rocky.
We don't remember Rocky 2.
But, I mean, I do think Rocky 2, he was on his way up because even if you get a chance to fight for the title, you have a name for a bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think he took Apollo Creed... I can't remember the first one. Did they fight to the end and it was a decision? Because if he took him all the way to the end, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I think, he was on his rise then. And now he's just top of the mountain, baby.
Yeah. And he's carefree. Like he's singing doobie doobie doos to Adrian before bedtime. And
he doesn't care.
No.
This is
glory days.
This is glory. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh.
And he's not uber greedy about it. He does do what's the word I'm looking for when you do things volunteer?
It's called charity.
Thank you. When you do things out of the kindness of your rotten heart. Charity. Okay, I think I'm familiar.
You've heard of it.
Yeah.
You've never participated in it, but you've heard the word before.
It seemed pretty giving to me, so I thought no. But anyway,
I loved that. I have to tell you, I honestly think the Hulk Hogan stuff was maybe. I don't want to spoil it. It might have been my favorite part.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Like the fun and the turn at the end when he's like, "Dude, that was awesome."
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
When he's like, "Why'd you get so crazy?" The turn at the end, not just the turn. Their whole match when the Hulk goes crazy. Hulk Hogan goes crazy on everybody for a little bit, but then this tiny little mishkina of a Italian boxer holds him over his head,
picks him up and throws him out of the ring.
That didn't really happen.
It turns into a bare knuckle boxing match for a bit. Yeah. It is wild. Yeah. It's super awesome. I really thought that was a lot of fun. This is one I remember watching a lot.
Yeah.
When I was younger. I mean, the first one is a very great, amazing, fantastic, but very serious movie. So when you're a kid, you're like, I don't know. Rocky 1 is fine, but I want to watch him fight Mr. T. Hulk Hogan. So I watched this one, and I watched Rocky IV quite a bit.
Okay, these were your Rockies.
They really were.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. Let's get to where we start, right? Let's get to our beginning, which is really just a flashback, right, of the previous fights. Let's see. Yeah.
As I said, previously on Rocky 2, because it really and I got to tell you, people that make sequels, can you do this?
Get smart.
Can you just do this? Can you please, all these dumb Marvel films, can you just put in 2 or 3 minutes at the beginning of whatever one you have? It just rapid fire. What happened? Who these characters are? Right. What's going on?
They're major fights. They're
Captain
good.
America's. I'm sorry, I don't know. So if I stumble into this, I want to know what's happening.
I need a little background, and we get it. We get that he's got a team of people that help cheer him on. Mm-hmm. That he's got a face that bloodies easily, but heals rather quickly. Actually.
He gets punched so much in that last match, and I'm like, he is barely bleeding.
I know. He's so fresh faced. When they're like, "How you feel?" He's like, "Great." I'm like, "No, you don't really feel great." Like, I know you won, but
paintbrush, and just painted red, just right above his eye a little bit.
He's doing that. He blocks his face a lot, but still, that's a lot of punches to take. Like, I get his theory. He's like, "I've got a plan. I'm just gonna wear him out," but you're still a little bit sore, Rocky.
Yeah. Also, it's not a great plan. I'm going to allow this guy to punch me so much he becomes tired, and then I guess I'll win.
But look, it worked.
It totally works. I do like how Apollo Creed's big thing is, we're going to learn how to run on the beach, and you're going to learn how to swim. And therefore, you will beat him because it will help your stamina, which is kind of a fun idea.
Yeah.
It's a really fun idea how they're because even after the first round, Rocky's like, you hit me a lot, but guess what? I'm not winded. Okay.
I've got the lung capacity of a whale. I could go for days.
Yeah, my brains are totally scrambled, but I can catch my breath.
And he says he's losing his breath out there because we all know Mr. T is does he run? He does some. So we get...
Mr. T works out like Rocky does in Rocky IV. I find this character arc so amazing. How he gets to the pinnacle in this movie, and we're supposed to believe or understand that when you reach that point, you do become a bit lazy and you don't take it as seriously as you used to. And then in Rocky IV, he has to get back to basics. And then he has to work out and run up a mountain and stuff like that.
Well, at the end of this one, he's introduced to getting back to basics. I love that we have to fly all the way to California, back to LA, back to the gym that Apollo started at, when we really just do a lot of running on the beach. And it's not like he's fighting. Oh no, he does. He fights Apollo more. Doesn't he practice more with Apollo?
Sorry, I'm coughing. I did get my flu shot today.
Oh. So
I'm not saying it's interfering. I don't do well with flu shots.
No, you don't?
No.
You get, I guess that's, but then you're protected for the rest of the season.
Well, then I'm protected. Right, yes.
So a little bit, but perfect.
COVID shots have not been good for me at
Oh,
all.
no, you get
the
reactions.
Next day, I'm down for the count.
Well, smart for you for doing it on a Friday. I mean, I know you're weekend, you have kids, so I
got nothing going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, all I have to get through is talking about Rocky 3, and then I can lay down if I need to.
Take a good lay down after that.
Right. Yeah. Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail this.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad to know about your flu shot.
Yeah, it's important.
Well, so at the we get a couple little montage pieces. So the first end of kind of the montage is where we get him doing the "Yo, Adrian, I did it," because we know he's finally won. And
she's not there though. She's watching on TV, which I thought was fun.
Yeah.
Because they kept cutting to her, and I was like, "There's a lot of empty Miller Genuine Draft bottles around her." And then the camera panned over, and I went, "Oh, Paulie's there. Okay, right, this all makes sense now."
Well, then we get the Rise of Rocky montage to the Eye of the Tiger, which is nice and appropriate. And this is where we see him. Gracing covers of magazines, doing an American Express card commercial. What else did they have him doing?
It's really cute and kind of fun. And you would have seen this, I guess. It's really strange. Like I don't watch boxing. I have seen boxing, which since I've actually seen real boxing from time to time, that makes this movie even funnier because in real boxing, people just don't like trade punches the way they do in these movies. Mostly it's guys like hugging each other.
Oh yeah, they. Like, well, I don't know if it's like a loving hug,
pulling at each other's faces and stuff, and they just seem exhausted. In this, it's just like, how about Mr. T? You punch me in the face uncontested 5 times, and I'll do the same thing to you.
I'll do the same thing to your side body, and then then we'll do it in the corner for a little bit, but then I'll escape from the corner.
I guess it's just because of like when I was growing up, it was Mike Tyson. You know, he was the biggest thing around. He was amazing. He destroyed everyone. But I don't remember him being in commercials. But then everyone remembers the first time you hear Mike Tyson speak, and you're like, oh my God, he sounds like a little squeaky mouse. Yeah. Like so maybe that was the deal, but I know athletes do commercials. I can't really think of boxers that did commercials.
Oh, gotcha. Well, did Muhammad Ali do like the cover? Even Wheaties. They mention Wheaties when they're on the golf cart together and they eat breakfast, he and his kid. I mean,
Muhammad Ali did commercials because he's basically like Mr. T.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to break you. You're nothing. And I am full of swagger. But also, like, you know, Rocky is a pretty well-spoken man, so he could do commercials.
Yeah, so
I'm not arguing with it. I'm just saying I don't remember. Ali is a little bit before my time. That was in, like, the 60s and 70s.
Right.
I just don't remember boxers doing commercials.
Well, he's an athlete. So he's an athlete now in the limelight. And like you said, because he's kind of well-spoken and he's this great underdog story, he's the perfect athlete to be on the rise. And now we see him also still boxing and in matches and being, again, supported by his team. We see that he's acquiring some wealth through all of this, right? Like I said, when we have the flashbacks of the boxing matches that he's in, Adrian is still there, but she's got fur coats and pearls and definitely a little more like,
Yep.
And
I did write down a few of these.
Yeah.
You said American Express. He's doing a telethon.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
advertising
with a kid.
A DeLorean.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote down Nikon cameras, Gatorade, Wheaties. It appears that he's either on The Muppet Show or Sesame Street. I couldn't figure out which one.
It's The Muppet Show. It's The Muppet Show. We're going to dog ear that. But, yeah.
Okay.
And then, but then, so all of this wonderfulness happening for The Rock and Adrian by his side and Mick by his side, but we see the downfall of Paulie, who's just drinking.
I can't take this. Jamie, I have to tell you, I said a lot of people did not listen to our original Rocky podcast when I referred to Paulie as the worst character in cinematic history. I have been on podcasts since then. I was on a podcast called The Rocky Minute. People hate that I said that.
Well, because people love Paulie. Yeah.
And I will say it right now, and I will provide evidence as we go through the podcast. This is the movie that I think paints him in the worst light of any movies. I understand in Rocky 1, he beat up Adrian, which is possibly the worst thing he does. But in this movie, there's a lot of really bad stuff.
There's some things he mutters that are a little bit...
mutters, says right out loud. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know if we need racism in this Rocky movie.
Well, when you're Paulie, you don't even look at it as racism. It's just Paulie thoughts. That's all.
Yeah. When Paulie yells at the 2 homeless men out his window, I was like, Paulie, you are one brother-in-law that is a boxing champion away from being those people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We get Rocky, to, that's what we lead into, right?
On the streets. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in this montage we see just like he's just drinking. He's just angry and drinking. And we don't see him necessarily at the matches. He's watching them on the bar TV or on the TV at the bar. He's not.
We kind of just wander. It's like a typical evening with Paulie. She's just going to the bar, getting hammered, and then wandering around being angry at Rocky.
So mad at The Rock. We also, in this flashback, the other person we get to see is a very observant and very angry Mr. T, who goes to some of these matches that we see a fur-coated Adrian at, and he's just watching from the audience with like this.
So angry, just
so brooding, so angry.
He gets up and leaves. Like the moment Rocky,
he doesn't sit through any of the matches
in a huff and walks out. Also, it is the 80s Mr. T. He's always got
feather earrings,
with the feathers.
So great. Later
on, when he is at a match dressed in like a black tie affair, he's wearing his fancy feather earrings.
You've got options for your feather earrings.
It's awesome.
But yeah, so we watch him going to the matches. We also watch him working out. Like he's like, looks like he's in like a dirty back garage or something. Like he's just definitely
like a very dark barn or something.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's working out hardcore and getting angrier and angrier, and we can, we get the feeling of some tension here.
We get it. I mean, he's a in a way, and it's very strange because Apollo Creed doesn't come out and say this, but other than the severe anger issues, it really is like Mr. T is Rocky from the first Rocky.
Yeah.
He's a young, hungry fighter who wants a shot at the title.
But they do point out, and that's what the wise Mick says too, he is a hungry fighter, but he's also totally self-taught. They mention how he doesn't have a trainer. Even though at the final fight he does have people in the background with him. Yeah, I guess it was boxing rules. I don't know. But he's like a loner. He's just all about the fight. When Mick points out when Mick points out, like, no, he's not going to fight you. And he explains to Rocky because he's an animal. He's not going to, there is no, stopping this. He's just an angry wild beast. And it's even beyond what I think Rocky was in the first one.
No. Yeah, Rocky wasn't angry the way he is. That's why I kind of said that. But it works for him.
Yeah.
I mean, we see him defeating other fighters and really beating these guys up and working his way up.
Right. And finally he's interviewed and he's come. And his name, by the way, is not Mr. T in this. It's Clubber Lang. Clubber. Because he's clubbing them.
Not a terrible name. Mr. T would be fine too. You could do that.
But Mr. T himself has more of like a cheerful, lovable. Yeah, he's not. This guy is an angry.
He only gets angry if you want to put him on an airplane or a helicopter or something like that. That's it. Because then you have to spike his milk or whatever he used to drink in A-Team.
Yeah.
So you pass out and they can put him on a plane.
I do like that he got to say, "I pity the fool." In this.
I love that. Anytime they just allowed him to put in those catchphrases. At one point, it's later, I wrote it down. He's delivering lines and you can see his eyes moving. He's clearly reading the lines he's supposed to say. He's trying though.
It's a lot. You got to carry those beautiful feather earrings and that look and that whole persona. That's a lot just to get together and bring.
It is.
Now, the line delivery, everything,
So I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Paulie a little more because this is after Paulie destroys a Rocky pinball machine.
So we follow his evening into where he's just stumbling around and walks into an arcade, and there's a Rocky pinball machine that he throws his drink at. Right, smashes it though. Whoa, that thing goes to slow-mo pieces and. Shatters, and he's in jail. I'm sure public intoxication. Public intoxication. And who picks him up?
Peter O'Toole just entered the conversation. So Rocky bails him out.
But I love Rocky's dressed in like this super classy tan suit. It's kind of funny. Like, you go to just wear your hoodie, throw some sweatpants on, pick up your buddy at the police station.
This just Rocky with his like blow dried hair in this movie. Just this like squishy helmet that he's wearing through the whole thing. It is kind of super amazing.
Yeah. The 80s, lots of moves.
They have a confrontation like in the parking garage.
I don't think that that Paulie's all that sober yet. And
I don't think Paulie's ever all that sober.
And yeah, well, what it comes down to is, and I'm kind of confused because Paulie's honest and is like, you left me, you rose up and you got all the things and you got all the money, but where's Paulie? Where's Paulie? What about
I love when he's like, me and my sister, we used to be real tight till you came along. And I'm like, oh, I guess you're referring to when you used to beat her up in your home that you shared.
But Rocky is very firm with him, and he tells him nobody owes nobody nothing. You earn what you have, and it's up to you if you want to share it with your friends. I'm not obligated to share it with you just because it's mine. I have it. I earned it. And he even says, because Paulie's just going on, and he goes on to say, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. And I wrote it down. He says, you're a jealous, lazy bum.
Yep.
And that's when Paulie's like, I'm going to break your mouth. I'm just going to break your mouth. And go swinging for him. And it's a weird thing because really, Paulie, you're going to go for the...
Yeah, I think Paulie's looking to die tonight. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to hell. I don't care.
Yeah.
If my brother-in-law murders me, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. It's all. But right before they fight, Paulie just confesses that he just wants a job.
Yeah.
And after, I don't know how much time it's been. I'm assuming it's just been months. But Rocky's like, well, you should have just asked. Yeah. Like, totally.
It's the weirdest way to open
weirdest
your
transition,
movie. And then all of that tension is dropped.
Yeah, now they're back to having fun. Like, also, all you had to say, Paulie, was give me a job.
Is not explicitly stated through this movie. I still don't know what he's doing.
He does did you notice in the final match, Rocky straight up spits, when they're doing the water and washing his water out, he straight up spits on Paulie. Did you see?
No. I wish I would have seen that.
So maybe Paulie's meant to be the spit guy. I don't know.
All right. I would just say his job is to just hold the bucket, and in that moment he forgot he was supposed to.
No, I think it was missed. Like if he backed up a little bit, it would have gotten in the bucket, but it lands right on him. And he's just like, okay.
So he's not even good at his job of spit bucket holder.
And what else is his job? I don't know. Just the third assistant. And how come... Paulie's got a point where, this is what I was doing before, but when you got famous, you just cut me off from it. How come I had to literally ask for it again? But I guess it's all about
it's a whole thing.
Rocky's theory.
I don't want to roll too far into Rocky 4, but even Paulie's like, well, Mickey gets to live with you. Why can't I? And I'm like, my brain can't stop watching him living with them and being gifted a mother sex robot than in the fourth one, just for fun. And I'm like, wow, he got everything he wanted by the next movie.
Yeah. Things come full. They really they're on the rise for our friend Paulie. Yeah. So now Paulie's hired and he's happy again. Yeah. This is the singing in the bed scene when we see just how good life is for Rocky.
Oh yes.
So it's not just good. We've got this whole flashback now where he's, gracing covers of magazines and commercials and Wheaties boxes, and now he's made up with his brother-in-law. And now we just have to see how good it is for even romantically. He and Adrian are in a good way. They're laying in this plush, I can't explain to you how much money Rocky must be making now, because his whole lifestyle is upgraded tenfold. Yeah. His classy little
tenfold. I think he was living on the street in the first one. I'm pretty sure.
That golf cart that he drives around with his son, that's like a oldie. Amazing. Anyway, he and Adrian are in this plush little baby blue bed with satin sheets and this velvet headboard, and they get a little singing, so do singing to each other. Do you remember?
It is wild. It reminds me of, I will stop now referring to the fourth movie. Remember the fourth movie when he got our bracelet and he's like, it's a snake, but the guy in the jewelry store told me it's not going to bite you, but it's a total cool snake. Isn't that really a neat idea? It's a fun little interaction between the two of them, and it's very sweet, and it's kind of the only time you get that in the movie. I know it's not what these movies are about.
Yeah.
But it at least establishes that they have a good relationship.
Yeah, they got a good thing going on, the two of them.
Yes, exactly.
They sing to each other, and it's adorable. They also have a son, which I think in the next couple of movies, the actual son is Sylvester Stallone's son, right? The actor?
I'm not sure. I will tell you, Jamie, a friend, well, one of the son's friends in the 5th movie went to my high school for a brief moment, and it was a big fucking deal.
Oh, because it was at the time of the movie and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a huge deal at that time. And I don't even think he was there for a whole year. It might have been 3 months. Mm-hmm. But it was just like you knew it was
you
that
were there,
kid.
yeah.
I don't even think he had lines in the movie, but he sat and watched a fight with them.
And you got to see him, and he got to be on the big screen in a Rocky movie.
He was in my German class with me.
Oh, you took German?
I took German for 1 year until I went, this is really hard. Then I took Spanish, and I went, no, this is really hard. I don't think I understand
foreign language is not your thing.
But I toughed it out with Spanish for 2 more years to get those credits.
Oh.
Credits, that's
foreign
how high
language
school works, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Foreign language credits.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's it. You seem really shocked by this.
The German thing.
I can still count a little bit in German. I'm not going to do it because I'm not sure I can actually do it. The moment I said that, I went,
no. Your brain was like, no, you better take that back because we are not really capable of that.
Lame brag. And also, I'm not sure I can fulfill this. If on the stand, I don't know that I could actually do that.
Oh, in that case, well, oints? Is oints one?
Doinks? That's one.
Doinks.
Spy is 2. Dry is 3.
Dry.
Fear is 4.
Beer is 4?
Fear.
Oh, fear.
Like you're afraid. Fumph?
This is made up. Fumph?
Okay, I'm done. Wait, doesn't that sound like German?
Fumph? Fumph sounds like something like a cartoon character says.
Okay. All right.
And fear, I mean, maybe. All right. How did we get so off track that we're counting in German?
And then we just laugh a lot.
There's not even a German character in this. Although
we should talk about Rocky.
Yeah, we should. All right, let's do it. Let's get back to it. Okay, so after singing in the bed, this is when we have our charity event. What you consider one of your favorite moments of the film. There's a charity event happening. Again, Mick is not for this. He's like, what?
No.
What? This doesn't make sense.
What's happening? It's almost like he was just told that morning, this is what we're doing. He doesn't seem to be involved at all in this event and just kind of showed up. I have to say, I love the colors. And maybe it's just a boxing thing, but how Rocky is always wearing yellow.
Yeah, that's his colors. Yeah,
Mr. T's in like that baby blue, like that powder blue, and Hulk Hogan's wearing red. Like, it's a very flamboyant sport. Does that make sense?
What it is? Yeah. Yeah, they have to be. That's how they kind of mark their, and especially now, and Mick kind of brings this up, like the wrestling especially was, their characters, and there's a whole like soap opera that goes along with wrestling, especially wrestling in the 80s and all that. I forget, so because Hulk Hogan comes in, he's in this charity event, and it's going to be the boxer versus the wrestler. And it's Hulk Hogan is our wrestler. But he isn't Hulk Hogan. He's Thunder Lips.
He is Thunder Lips. Definitely.
He's a
giant pair of lips on the cape that he wears around.
And he comes in. Now, did Hulk Hogan, because he claims to be the ultimate male. I like it when he says, it's the ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
Yep, I love it. It's great. It's super fun. Like, it's just this insane pageantry and gimmicky that, pro wrestling actually is. It's super fun. And I know they do stuff like this. I don't know about boxers. I'm sure they do. But I know, like, professional athletes, football players and stuff will just show up at a WWE or WWF, I think it's E now, event, and they'll do their little fake wrestling bits, and it's super fun, and that's what I'm assuming this was supposed to be, because this is what Rocky thinks it is. He's like, this is all for fun, it's for charity, it's a joke, wrestling's fake, Mick, don't worry.
We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And Mick is just not having it. Oh, another name that Thunderlips gives for himself is the mountain of molten lust. Is that correct?
Sounds great. I have no idea. I did not write that down. It sounds amazing, though.
I did write down when they gave their weight stats. I did, and then especially in this one. So they come in, like you said. There's all this. The crowd definitely prefers Rocky.
This crowd is insane.
Very biased to Rocky.
Why? Yeah. Like, the crowd knows this is a goof, right? Like, that's what I always wondered when I watch those wrestling things. I always wonder, like, the crowd knows this is just a fake show, right?
Well, the adult crowd
so into it.
Yeah.
But I guess, it's like watching a taping of a TV show and applauding. I guess it's the equivalent of that.
Yeah, you're the audience. You need to participate, so you root for who you're into, and they're definitely Balboa fans. Right. And the Thunderlips comes in with an entourage of scantily clad Baywatch ladies. And they give out the stats, and Thunderlips is...
Please read the stats. I found this fascinating.
Over 300 pounds and over 7 feet tall. Meanwhile, Rocky, did I have it on the next page? I think in this, he's 219 pounds? Or 210?
Yeah, he's just over 200 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I don't know if you noticed this, when the announcer goes to say Rocky's height, it cuts to Rocky talking, so we don't hear his height. Because I'm like, I think he is self-conscious about how tiny he is.
And he does when they take the Polaroid
and Mr. T is a pretty tiny man, too, which makes me wonder, like, I thought Carl Weathers was pretty big, but maybe he's not. Maybe everyone they pair him with, unless it's a joke, like Hulk Hogan or Dolph Lundgren, except for those, maybe they do try and find people that are a little smaller in stature.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when they are together because you do see quite the difference. And again, even when they're first matched up.
I do love it how when they do walk into the center ring for like the announcer to say stuff, it's just Stallone staring at his nips. He's right there.
And we should say Hulk is in his prime. So he is golden and he's kissing his own muscles as he should because they're beautifully rounded. They're not veiny. They're like plump and lovely but muscular. His hair is
his hair is thin and long.
Yeah, I see why he did the do-rag.
Yeah, it's not great. But he also has like the handlebar mustache thing going. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good look for the Hulk. And we should also note that Mr. T is in the audience, dressed to the nines as well. He's in a suit.
This is when he's in his black tie affair. And I'm like, Mr. T, you didn't need to show up for this.
It's a charity event.
Farce.
He thought he should.
You're not getting any inside information on Rocky by watching him fight a wrestler.
But he's angry in this. He's angry.
Of course.
I do like when Rocky gets ready before the fight, he does the sign of the cross, and you could hear Mick say, "I get nervous every time he does that." And Mick's Jewish. Okay, so. Thunderlips, what is this? Thunderlips is, I thought it said kissing, but no, it's kicking Rocky's ass. We just get right into it.
Really, it's, I mean, these fight sequences, and I think we can kind of run through these relatively quickly.
Yeah.
He's really beating up Rocky, and Rocky thinks this is all fun and games. Rocky is trying to choreograph this in real time, which is crazy. Saying, like, how about I punch you a few times?
Yeah.
Then you punch me.
But
I don't know. This will be a lot of fun.
Hulk does, or Thunderlips does, basically every wrestling move on him. He does a pile driver. He does it. Yeah. He's just lifting him up and swinging around. Mick's yelling from the corner. I think he yells, run for your life. Like, just get the fuck out of there. He's just doing everything what is the one over the knee? That's the pile driver, right? He holds him up and spins him around. He throws Rocky out into the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's when The Rock is like, what the fuck? I thought this was all fun and games. What is happening here? And
because even when they're like going around in a circle in the ring, Rocky's even like, hey, maybe after this we could take a Polaroid. Like, my kid would really love to meet you.
Mm-hmm. He does get that Polaroid in the end, which I love.
Rocky's in the crowd yelling to Mick or Paulie or somebody, like, cut my gloves off of me.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know why I'm wearing boxing gloves and he isn't, but can you please remove these so that I can actually fight?
So I can actually get in and get...
Also, at this point, Mickey appears to be dying.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
having
Mickey,
a mild heart attack.
Yeah, this is Mickey's first, like, we'll say heart issue that comes up.
And I have to say, there is someone, I don't think it's Paulie, it's somebody else that's working there, says to him, should I call a doctor?
Do you need the doctor, yeah.
Just a tip, just for our audience. If an extremely elderly man is having chest pains, do not ask if he needs a doctor. Just call one. Just do it.
Yeah.
That could have helped him out later in this movie.
I agree. Sorry, I keep calling him Paul. If Mick got the help sooner.
Right.
But he couldn't.
Also, Mick didn't stick around in a locker room and allowed the paramedics. First of all, those paramedics, sorry guys, you should be fired.
Yeah. I like when they arrived and they were like, he needs to get to the hospital right now. I'm like, or let him say goodbye right here.
Let us take him. Really? He's a feeble elderly man. You can force him into that ambulance.
This was his time. Because clearly Rocky wasn't going to let him go.
No. Not only, I'm sorry, did Rocky basically kill Apollo Creed in the fourth one, he killed Mickey too.
He's cutthroat. That's how it
really
goes down.
Bad.
Yeah. All right, but after getting swung around and thrown into the crowd, and now he gets his gloves cut off, Rocky is ready to fight, and he should be, because the Hulk is going crazy. He's throwing everybody around now.
He's punching the ref.
Yeah.
He punches Paulie.
He tosses one of the announcers, doesn't he? He lifts up somebody else and tosses them. He punches Paulie.
Oh my God, those announcers later on, and we'll get into it, but when the announcers are like, oh my God, can you look at Rocky? Look at that guy.
Yeah.
He's so fucking hot. Can you imagine?
He's lost so much weight. He looks great. He looks so good.
And then Mr. T goes in, and the one guy's like, would you look at this guy here? It's incredible. These two old men that are gushing over how attractive
over the physiques of these
two
men
guys are. It's really fun. Yeah, Paulie gets beat up. And Paulie gets beat up because, again, it's a wrestling match. Paulie takes a chair.
Oh, that's right, and he hits him. That's right.
Mr. T. Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
The Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I did like that. The little toss into the wrestling world. Yeah, he hits him over the back with the chair, and then gets punched by Hulk. Turns around, but turns out once the gloves are off, Rocky can really does take down the Hulk in a very surprising defeat. Like I said, this barely 200-pound Italian stallion lifting Thunder Lips over his head.
And I don't know if there was wire work involved or whatever, but even Sylvester Stallone looks unsure of how safe any of this is.
I do like when it's kind of adorable when Hulk Thunder Lips is holding Rocky because he's just so tiny in his arms. Right?
And I can put him in my pocket, but instead I'm going to throw him into the crowd.
And his face, because like we said, Rocky's really not sure if this should be taken seriously or not, so he's just like, what the heck is happening? When he's throwing... When it's the other way around, they don't get too close up because I'm certain there was some kind of magic being worked because... Anyway... No. He wins the match, and now, like we had said earlier, at the end of this match, they're pretty sweet and jovial to each other. Rocky's like, "Why did you get so crazy? Why did you get so nutso?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's part of it." Like
Hulk Hogan just walks up and was like, "That was a lot of fun. I hope you had a good time too. You want to take that Polaroid now?" Also, did you notice that the ring announcer goes, "Well, I hope you all had fun at the first annual one of these." I was like, how many of these do they have planned in the future?
Well, this one did go so well.
Also, I will tell you, this type of event, this should have been planned and choreographed well.
Yeah, I thought they would have had some rehearsals for this, but
this is not just you just show up and we'll figure it out on the fly.
This is, I love it. At the end of this little scene here, this is when we get little Rocky says, "Sometimes charity hurts."
Yep. Great.
And that's a wrap on our Hulk Hogan. We don't see him again. He's not looming in the audience like Mr. T. He had his moment and now moving along. And we get a little nursery rhyme time with Rocky. Rocky's reading stories to his kid and bonding with his son. Yeah. A little story of the three little bears.
His kid's on cloud nine. His kid's like, I met Hulk Hogan. This is amazing.
Awesome.
I met Thunderlips McGee, or whatever that guy's name was.
No, it's a sweet, I guess, again, it's to show they do not take the child. The child does not, he's there for a couple of scenes and we see, and is there a baby that there, is she, they talk about a baby.
I don't think so. I think there's just one. Okay. I mean, no, we saw 3 and 4. I was like, unless she lost the baby at some point, but I don't remember that.
I thought when they were doing their doobie doobie doo singing, she says you'll wake the baby, but
maybe.
But there is no baby, so
no, maybe they're just referring to their 7-year-old son.
Yeah, and he's their baby boy. Yeah, yes. But yeah, they have to go. The car is here, as Adrian says, and they have an event to go to, and the kid, Rocky's son, is going to stay with Uncle Paulie for the night. Right. And the advice to Uncle Paulie is don't take him to the horse track and don't give him any beer.
Right. Yeah. Paulie's like, why would I share my beer with anyone? What are you talking about? That's crazy. But you did say no on the horse track, right?
Yeah. So, where event they have to go to is the city of Philadelphia is presenting, not the key. At first I was like, he's getting a key to the city. No.
That would make way more sense than what's
happening. But I like the moment. I like later the when he's anyway. What he gets is a statue of Rocky with kind of a messed up looking face. I would say the sculptor.
You wouldn't be impressed.
Was not.
You're like, well, I don't know. The physique looks amazing, but that face, I don't think so, man.
My personal opinion.
Did you ever, and this might be a recommendation for our listeners here, did you ever see there was a comedy show in Philadelphia a few years back, maybe 15 years back, and Dom Herrera, who is a Philadelphia comic.
He's great.
Know. Okay, the crowd booed him off the stage.
Oh.
In Philadelphia. And then Bill Burr came out and basically did 15 minutes just tearing into the city. And one of his bits was like, you are a city that is so fucking racist you had to put up a statue to a fake white boxer, even though you have great black boxers that lived here. It's an amazing thing. People should find it. It's really fun. But yeah, that's what I think about every time I see that statue now. That's all I think about.
Because now is that statue in Philly still, right?
Yeah. It's there.
It's by the steps, yeah.
It steps to the art museum in Philadelphia. There's a statue to a fictitious boxer. It's crazy. And I actually meant to do research about it because even living near the city, I never looked into it. Like, I guess it was just made for this movie and they just left it there.
Well, yeah, the movie was a big deal at the time. Rocky was a big deal at the time. His whole story, and this is the 80s. Sylvester Stallone was huge.
Sure. No, I understand, but just the fact that I guess that was why it was made, and the art museum was like, I don't know, we'll just hold on to it.
It's
just
a piece of art.
Like, it's a tourist attraction. If you go there, you see people running up those steps all the time. Yeah. Like, everybody does that and then takes a picture. So I get it for tourism. It just seems so silly to me.
And it truly is. I mean, the art department is who created it on the film, right? It's a piece of art. Right. So, again.
The art department's like, I'll never get anything in that museum, but outside
the museum, I got that Rocky Balboa statue. Rocky's he's like unsure. He's looking at the statue, and then he goes and makes his announcement. I think this is poor timing on Rocky's part because he goes to accept the statue.
Yes.
And this is when he's decided. Now, the whole city just gave you a statue for being a boxer. And this is when he decides he's going to announce his retirement.
Yeah, really bad idea.
Yeah, poorly planned.
That would be a different press conference.
Yes.
Maybe give it a day or two, a week, perhaps.
Yeah, just let the statue be. Thank the city for their support.
Also, how about Mickey looks like he's working for the FBI? He's in a big trench coat and like a hat with his hearing aid in there. His collar's turned up. It looks really silly. But you're right. You don't, when you are presented with some sort of award or something, you don't take that moment to say, I'm retiring.
Right.
You thank the city. You thank your fans. You thank your wife, your family. Maybe you thank Polly when she gets to the bottom of the list. But it is very weird. I was like, yeah, this is such an honor. I'm retiring.
This is great, but you can catch me on the next American Express commercial, and
yes,
I don't want to mess up my moneymaker.
I'm on your TVs all the time now.
That's my transition. I'm just going to go from...
It was the first annual Hulk Hogan match. That's coming up.
Yeah, that'll be in a year. I'll be doing that again. We had so much fun there. It's a weird time to announce your retirement, but he does. But that's when, again, lurking in the crowd is Clubber. And Clubber comes out, Mr. T comes out angry, and he's like, I know, I'm going to tell you why he's quitting. He's quitting because he don't want to fight me, because I want to fight him, and he don't want to fight me. And Rocky is instant.
That's an amazing impression. That was really great. I was actually afraid to try and do a Mr. T, but that was really great.
Thank you.
Also, the thing that confused me about this is, do they know each other?
Well, he is now the world champion, right? No, not yet. But he's
still the world champion.
But he won't defend his title.
Yeah, the way that Mick is referring to him and the way Rocky's even treating him, I'm just like, wait, was he in Rocky 2 and we just didn't see
but they must have. They don't say this in this movie, but he's the next big fighter. He's coming up in the boxing world, so they must have heard of him somehow, right? In the boxing circles.
Yeah. Boxer Quarterly.
It doesn't take long for Rocky to be like, all right, fine, I'll fight again. That's fine. I'm not retired anymore. I'm going to fight him. Let's do it. All right. You just have to egg me on just a little.
You say it doesn't take long. It only takes for Mr. T to be like, hey, Adrian, you want a real man?
Oh, yeah.
How about you come to my hotel room?
That's right. He did. I forgot about that.
It is easy to trigger Rocky Balboa because he wants nothing to do with this.
You're right.
He's like, hey, how about I just talk to your wife for a bit? And then Rocky flies
I forgot. That's what lures him. I forgot. Yeah, because at first he's like, no, I just don't do it. Now, because Mick comes in the middle of it at one point and is like, this is when Mick lays down again Mick's wisdom.
Yeah.
And is like, this is not happening. You need to go on your way and leave us alone, basically.
It really is Mick, like, holding Rocky. Oh, God, I just punched my microphone.
You're excited.
Rocky. It's really him, like, holding Rocky back going, no. I'm the one that's retiring.
Yeah. No, like, remember? We're going to the islands after this. We're out of this whole racket.
We're not doing it. You think it's about you? This is about me, and I'm done, a.k.a. we're done.
We're done, right. No more of this.
But then it does. Rocky takes the challenge, and it cuts to Mickey packing a suitcase.
Well, Mickey's quitting. He says to him, like, if you take this on, then I'm done. I'm not with you for it.
First of all, most of Mickey's lines are amazing. Just the way this character talks, the way it's written is great. He has an amazing line here where he says, this guy will kill you to death in 3 rounds. I'm like, just the idea of kill you to death is a fantastic line.
Yeah, in 3 rounds.
Is in this movie.
Yeah, his side mouth delivery is out of control. I love it so much.
Oh, it's crazy. And just to think that he went on to live, I don't know how much longer. He did Grumpy Old Men.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Like, that was at least 10 years after this movie.
Yeah. Well, he finds Mick packing, ready to leave because he's just done. And again, he's in this room from that movie. What'd you say, Oliver? Not Oliver. Oscar. Yeah, he's in his fancy spare room.
I'm kind of sad that it's a 90s movie.
I know, because it would be a fun one to cover.
I'm so sad that it's not. Maybe we'll do, when we reach the end of our Sly's Giving, maybe just as a bonus episode, just a cherry on top of Sly's Giving, we'll do Oscar. Because that is a silly, like, he and Marissa Tomei, Tim Curry's in that movie. It's really goofy, and I think that
it'd be worth covering. Yeah, yes. I agree. Well, him and Mick have a very serious conversation here, and Mick kind of lays it down and is like, basically says how all those fights that he had been winning had been sort of handpicked, and Rock's offended. Like, what do you mean? Like, and he's like, no, they were good fighters, but we made sure that.
Yeah, because he's like, were they fixed fights? And he's like, no. Basically, he just lined up fighters that he knew he could beat.
Yeah, and that's what helped him rise up.
Right.
And so Rock brings this up later because it's true. It makes you kind of wonder, like, so how much of a real, world-class fighter am I if these were just chosen for me? But again, shows you how smart Mick is, and how he's not just a great trainer, but he also is a great manager for his career, like figuring out, okay, so this is how we're going to do it so that my man stays on top and lives more than.
This is what you do as a manager. I mean, at that point, if you can get your fighter to the pinnacle, then what you do is you just make sure you can keep making money as long as you can keep making money. Like, if he lost the next fight, it's all over.
Yeah.
It's done.
And I think Mick sees that too in this fight with Mr. T. Is like, first of all, you're going to lose everything that you've worked so hard for because this guy's an animal.
Yeah. Have you seen that guy? He's wearing feathers for earrings. We don't know what he's capable of.
He'll knock you till tomorrow. Look out. But like we said, it doesn't take much here for Rocky to be like, but come on, just one more. Just one more. Come on.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine.
Does he say something about underwear?
Oh, wait. Yeah, did I write that down? I feel like he does.
He does, but I didn't write it down because I didn't quite understand it. These emotional conversations, when anyone's voice in this movie lowers beneath a scream, I can't understand what they're saying.
Well, they do scream a lot. I did write down this, which is Mick points out, you're a fighter that got civilized, which I thought is true because when he started, and Mick talks about that too, like when you started, you were raw, you had all this anger, all this energy.
He used to break people's fingers for money. That was his job before he became a fighter.
But now he's civilized.
Civilized. It's a huge transition.
Yeah. But like we said, he convinces him, all right, let's do this. Now, this is the weirdest training montage ever because what's happening now is Rocky now has to train for this fight, and he does it in like what would you say?
Hotel or a convention center?
Yeah, like a convention center where I guess the public, the press, everyone is welcome to come and watch. Fans are welcome to drop in. That lady gives him a kiss while he's on the treadmill,
They're
right?
playing games around him.
They're selling merchandise.
Frank Stallone's there singing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great.
Great to see.
But yeah, it's a show for the public. He's not really training. He's just hitting a bag a few times. And then, like you said, someone wants to kiss him. Some guy wants a picture with him. And he's more than happy. And Mick's just like, I'm losing my mind here.
He's jump roping and they're blowing bubbles. And that's when Mick looks at one of the bubbles like, what the fuck?
Yeah, when one bubble pops and Mick winces. It's like, all right, that's pretty great.
But the whole time I like it because he's working out and Mick's trying to train him. And he's like, this is ridiculous. What are we doing here? This is, you're not even really.
Let's get out of here.
And the whole time Rock's like, oh, come on. Let's just enjoy it. Like, we're training for the media. It's all fun.
I'm the champion. We already had the conversation where you told me you set me up with fights I could win, but I'm more than confident that this is called training.
This is going to be great. Look at me. And he even says, I think, to Mick at one point, like, come on, let it go. Just have fun. We're training. Yep. Meanwhile, all Mr. T is grunting and lifting. He's like, huh, 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 through his whole training.
He's doing sit-ups. He's not even using machinery or equiment.
No.
He's just like grabbing whatever he can above his head to pull himself up on.
And lots of groaning, which I guess happens in training.
It's awesome. Mr. T is great in this movie. Yeah. I have to say, I know that we saw him dressed as Santa talking to Webster, and that was one thing. But he's really fantastic, and there's something about this movie that makes me wish, like, why didn't he get more jobs? Like, why didn't he get more movie roles as a villain? He could have played a great villain
he does do a good
action
villain.
Movies and stuff like that. That kind of does surprise me.
Maybe it wasn't his bag. Or maybe he didn't have like a manager like Mick who knew how to capitalize on all the things that Mr. T was
You could be right.
at. Or maybe he was just satisfied with the A-team. He didn't need much more.
No, you're yeah, I'm cruising on that A-team money. Whatever. I got it. I love it. So now they're like doing press, like right before the fight. Mm-hmm. I love how it cuts between Rocky doing press and then Mr. T just yelling, like, get the fuck out of my goddamn face, you son of a bitch.
Well, and again, Mr. T's in like this dark locker room, and he's kind of pacing like an animal as they're all talking to him and asking him questions, and yelling like, I don't want any of you here. Like, get out of here. I gotta do my thing. And Rocky's
he's
like
focused.
Yeah.
He's
getting into the mindset, right? Not Rocky though. He's got Adrian's right there next to him.
All the questions are like, are you going to retire? Yep, this is it. I'm going to retire once I
He's all smiles too. Yep. He's like excited about like, this is going to be great. I'm going to retire after this. He's looking at Mick. Mick's beaming too. Mick's like, this is our last one. We're ready. Mick does say, after all the training is done before the big fight, Mick does look at Stallone or at Rocky, and he says, I'm really proud of you. Yeah. You're doing this. So
maybe that was because the very last part of the training montage was him pulling Mick on a bike like a rickshaw. I did enjoy that. I was just running with the bike strapped to him. It just Mick being dragged behind.
Oh man. All right. So the press is starkly different for the two of them,
and we know who the champ is because apparently his locker room is on the bottom level. Yeah. And Mr. T's is on the top level. So then they get into like an altercation
on the stairs.
Stairwell.
Yeah. And Mick gets the wind knocked out of him now. Mick is not doing well. The incident he had earlier at the match was one thing with the clenching of the heart, but now he's really having a rough time of it. Adrian's concerned.
His heart's not good. And as you just said, thankfully Adrian's there because everyone else is paying attention to these two maniacs scream at each other. Yeah. And Adrian looks over and is like, there's an elderly man doubled over on the floor.
Gripping his chest. Rock gets freaked out now though once he sees that Mick is in bad shape, and they go back into the locker room, and Rocky at first is like, I'm not gonna fight. I can't fight when you're like this. This is crazy. No way. We'll call it. And Mick is like, no, you won't. You're gonna go out there. I love it. Rocky's like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And Mick's like, if you don't know what the fuck to do after all this time, like, what the hell? Go out there and do what you do. Go fight. Yeah. And you can see they give him a minute where Rocky's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go fight. I mean, I'm really kind of emotionally not okay right now, but I guess I'll channel that into a good fight.
That is your manager, your trainer. Like, you kind of need that person there. Like, I understand from that point of view.
But also, Paulie's a good replacement.
It's a horrible replacement. Yeah. Thankfully, in the fourth one, he at least has Duke or Dutch or whatever that other dude's name is there to help him out, because once you're down Mick, I'm sorry, you got nothing.
Yeah.
But it is. I do like the fact that Rocky's like, we need to cancel this fight.
Yeah.
And now Mick, the guy who kind of knows he's not going to win, is like, nah, you should go out there and fight.
Well, it's almost like he knew you need to be. We all see it, right? Rocky's getting a little too confident, a little too comfortable in his civilizedness.
Society. His civilizedness.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And Mick knows that he needs to be knocked back down. And so he's, again, a wise man, telling him to go back out there. And it's true. Rocky
like,
gets
if I'm
out.
dying tonight, you're coming with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out there and fight.
Just get out there. Get out of my face for a minute. And no, I'm not going to try to join you, though. I forgot that Apollo does the announcing. He's one of the trio of announcers.
No, he's not an announcer. No, he's just there.
Oh, he's just
watching it. Yeah.
I forgot some of his
this is the first time, I think it's the first time in the movie that we see Apollo. Mm-hmm. He has shown up to this match to sort of watch this. Mm-hmm. And They go into the ring. Mr. T has given such amazing lines.
Yeah.
Like when he just says, dead meat.
Yeah.
That's it. It's amazing. Uh-huh. It's not like when what's his name? The Russian says, if he dies, he dies. Or I will break you. Those are great lines. But this just dead meat is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Later on when he goes, my prediction? Pain. I was like, that's an amazing line.
He's a man of little words, but what a delivery.
Yeah.
What a delivery. But, so this match is going to start between Clubber Lang and Rocky Balboa. Oh, here's Paulie's advice to him. Go out and kill him.
Paulie's no help. This is not good. You just need to either tell him to hold the spit bucket straight this time or just tell him to leave and you'll handle this by yourself. Because Rocky is getting the shit beat out of him. Like, it's not even close.
Well, and when he comes back, even in the first round, when he gets back to his corner, he's just like, that guy's strong. Holy shit, he's very strong. Did you not think?
He is shocked by all of this. He's like, that guy's actually hitting me. And hitting me so hard. I can't believe it. I mean, Mick told me these fights were arranged, but I had no idea.
Like, this guy's he's punching with all of his might. And the might is a lot.
Even later on, when Apollo Creed is like, did you see how hard that guy hit you? I didn't hit you that hard. It's like, yeah, those are facts. Like, this is straight Rocky getting a beat down put on him.
Beat down. In the meantime, Mick's in a bad way in the back. He's basically dying.
We keep cutting to Mick, and one of the craziest times is when we just cut to Mick, and one of the paramedics goes, "All right, let's start CPR." Okay, what a weird way to deliver that line in this movie, but okay.
Okay, well, they needed you to know that things were progressing. I like when they cut back and Adrian's just nuzzling into his neck.
Yep. Oh my god! So Clubber wins.
This is a quick round. It's a quick match. Clubber wins really by round 2.
Yeah,
there's a knockout. Rocky can't handle it. His eyes all fucked up, and the winner's called, and it is what it is.
Say, when they put him up, his team puts him up on their shoulders, and they're like parading him around, and it's kind of slow motion, and you just hear Mr. T go, "Champion of the world."
So much grunting. So much grunting.
It's awesome. It's super great. And now Rocky, he's got one eye.
You think he had a line that he couldn't remember? Do you think he had? He's like, champion of the world. I don't remember.
I forgot my lines.
But yeah, and Rocky's eye is so fucked up and swollen, like he can't even. You're just like, oh, put ice on that, please. But he goes back and he now it's very sad. It's very touching. He goes back and he tells Mick basically that he won. Mick's like, how'd we do, kid? I love you, kid. How'd you do? He's like, yeah, we did it. We won. I mean, you're not going to tell the dying man.
He doesn't say we won. No. He's very vague. He says knockout.
Yeah, and then he says, how many rounds? 2. And Mick's got to know. Mick's like, there's no way.
Like, that seems way too early for you to have won this fight. Because even Mick's like, this guy's never gone more than like 5 rounds. So take him far.
Yeah,
He'll become, I don't know, winded or whatever. He doesn't even expressly state that, but I think that's what he's thinking. And this is a very, very touching scene.
Oh, so touching.
And I hate to just like, the fact that the paramedics are just standing like against the wall, twiddling their thumbs the whole time. Like, this is not your job. Like, this guy shouldn't still be here.
No, you should have taken him away. But the old man didn't want to go. And this moment had to be had because it's very precious. It's very sweet. I will say Stallone is an ugly, ugly crier. It's just, it is what it is. But
that's okay.
Yeah, no, it is totally okay. He's got to be. It's real.
There, you do it. You cry the way you cry.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's kind of sad how Mickey tells him he loves him, and Sly does not reciprocate, and then Mickey dies.
It's all part of the guilt bubble.
I love you too, and he doesn't.
So what do we got next?
Mickey's dead. So,
and he's Jewish. We get a little Jewish burial,
let's
Hebrew.
Let's get to this funeral where. Were you surprised as to how few people attended this funeral?
I mean, what did he really have? I was surprised because he ran that boxing place that we go back to. Like, you would think there'd be a couple people from the old streets that knew Mick and wanted to pay respects. But I think it was going to take up too much. We still haven't even really gotten...
No, I know, but he is the trainer of the heavyweight champion of the world, and nobody else shows up. I was surprised. I know... Listen... Apollo Creed showing up later is a big deal, and that's a really fun moment in the, sort of in the dark boxing, in the dark gym and stuff like that. Like, that's a really nice moment, and you can't undercut it by having him here. But how does Apollo Creed not show up? Like, how does he not show up to this?
Maybe it was meant to be a private ceremony. Yeah, because it's very intimate.
Let's say that was in his will. All right.
It's very small. We get a little, we get Balboa reciting, I guess, some Hebrew prayer of the dead. Sure. I don't know. I don't attend. But yeah, it's quiet and lovely, but sad.
Yeah. No, definitely. This is it's a major character who's been with us now for 2.5 movies out of this film, and he's the guy who took Rocky under his wing and made him the champion, and helped him then train to fight Apollo again in the second one. Like, it's a huge character gone, much like Apollo Creed is then in the next movie. Like, they knew what worked, or they knew what they needed to do in this movie, which is basically kill a main character and sort of shift roles and things like that for some others in here. Yeah. But it's really sad. Yeah. And I have to tell you, and I meant to keep taking like screenshots while I was watching this. How did you watch this movie? Can I ask you that?
On the TV? What do you mean, how?
Well, no, I mean, what I did was I watched it on YouTube.
Oh, no.
But somebody you can't just put a whole movie on YouTube. So sometimes what they do, as you've done, you know how sometimes they shrink the movie and they put it like in a corner or something? It wasn't even that. This person chopped this movie up into 40 separate videos.
Wow.
So some of them were like 1 minute long and stuff, and they were all titled, which is fun.
Sounds like a pain in the ass to watch it that way, but then again,
it kind of was, but it worked out fine for the way I was watching this. We don't need to get too much into how I consumed this movie, but I was so fascinated because underneath each one, people put in comments.
Oh, nice!
And all the comments were so heartfelt and genuine.
Yeah.
And it was just like when he's driving his motorcycle around and he throws his bike helmet at the statue.
This is a rough night.
Somebody was like, this is the exact same way I felt when my best friend died when I was 27 and I got in my car and I drove. I'm like, this is like a paragraph.
But when you think about it,
serious trauma.
But when you think about it, and that's kind of the beauty of these Rocky movies, right? Especially in the 80s. This is a great, it's wonderful to see this masculine sensitivity, right? To have this macho boxer guy be so sad and so affected and have a deep relationship. Even, like I said, his ugly cry. It was ugly, but it was very real feeling. And now this night of like the driving, I did note, because again, it just tells you how much he's moved up in the world. Stallone's Rocky's riding around on his bike, and his bike is yellow and black like his suit, and it says Italian Stallion on it, or it's called the Stallion, something like that. Sure. So he's got like customized motorcycle. Anyway, but yeah, he's angry. He's got his helmet, and he goes and he throws it at the statue, and he's hurt. He's a broken man right now, and it's very, very nice to see portrayed in this way, in this very vulnerable. Sensitive way. So yeah, I could see where people are pouring their hearts out about like how relatable it is.
Later on in the beach, when he's talking to Adrian, someone wrote in the comments, I'm assuming it's a woman, I don't want to make these assumptions, but she wrote, I love it when a hot man admits that he's scared. like, okay, all right.
Because he does. It's cool. Another very vulnerable, very open conversation. And again, to see this man admit that, again, that's why, again, that's why he takes Adrian with him. Why she's quiet, but part of his entourage, because she can pull these little things from him and get him to admit things that a conversation with Paulie just isn't gonna do.
Also, do you think Sly was like, listen, I'm not going to take you to Russia with me in the fourth movie. I'm already thinking about the fourth one, so I'm going to take you to LA if that's cool.
You come to, and you can stay at the shitty hotels. I love it when they show where they're staying, and it's not up to par for the old Rock, but we're not there yet.
Paulie either. But anyway, at the end of his sad night of driving around on his bike, he ends up at the old gym where Mick used to train him. Mm-hmm. And who's there?
Out of the darkness in the corners. I love how we just really see his silhouette for a lot of it. Like, it's just so dark around him, and it's just Apollo's face just gleaming from the darkness to send a message.
Carl Weathers is amazing. I said it earlier. He's amazing. I recently rewatched Predator because they have a new Predator that's on Hulu, and it's really good.
It's good. Okay.
But it made me want to go back and watch the original. And Carl Weathers is fantastic in that movie. First of all, a movie we need to do. Okay. If for some reason Schwarzenegger takes the place of Sly Stallone when we're done with Sly
maybe it becomes Schwartzgiving. We'll work it out.
We'll workshop that. We'll come up with something. But that's a really great movie, and he's fantastic in that. So, yeah, he's in every scene where he is either belittling Sly or sort of building him up. He's amazing. This is a great one. I love the fact that he's like, I don't know, I want to train you because retirement's fucking boring, dude.
Yeah. I'm running out of shit to do and I want to do something. And he says he's got
to... You know how many puzzles I put together? My wife hates me.
Their eye of the tiger is key, too. That's a key line. He says
times in this movie.
Because that's how he's going to motivate you. The eye of the tiger. That's what you had. You had the eye of the tiger, remember? The eye of the tiger. It's what you're all about, Rock. Mm-hmm. But that's part of the speech. Is part of the whole motivation in all of the fight is to remember you are the eye of the tiger. Remember the tiger inside or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, Rocky at first is like, why would I do this? Why would I go with you? And I don't know. But he convinces him. He convinces him that this is...
It doesn't even really take much convincing. Mm-mm. It's like, you want to fight him again. You want a rematch.
You're never going to be able to live with yourself.
Like, I'm more than happy to do this. Also, you owe me a favor at the end. Yeah. I'll say that at least 5 more times, but you owe me a favor at the end.
Wanted to see them, like... bubble bathing together and Stallone rubbing his back and like I don't know.
Yes, exactly.
Because the favor at the end,
bed at the end, being like, so was that good for you? Or was
having a cigarette together. That was a great favor. Yeah, there's a favor involved, and the eye of the tiger is definitely involved.
And it's awesome. And now we flash to Clubber on TV.
Oh, yeah.
This is when he's reading lines. Like, it zooms in on his face. I'm like, you're not doing him any favors because you see his eyes going darting, back and forth as he's talking. But I love it how he's basically like, oh, I'll beat up on him again. He wants a rematch. I'm not going to do a rematch because that guy's not worth rematch.
Yeah,
he's not
a
match for me.
Yeah.
But I'll beat him up. And I love how the guy's like, did you hear he's been... trained by Apollo Creed now? Apollo who? All right, great. Wonderful insult, honestly. It's great.
Training begins, though, right? After this. Yep. This is when they fly to, Rocky goes to California, they fly to LA, and we're not in the best part of LA. We're in LA. No. It's like...
This
like
is
the depths of downtown LA.
This is just all dump on Paulie time. First of all, this is not a rip against Paulie, but when they get out of the limo, I love how Paulie goes, "What are we doing here in LA?" And I'm like, wait a second, you guys drove to the airport, got on a plane, flew to LA,
and you're surprised
got in a car, drove to a gym, got out, and finally Paulie's like, "Why are we here?"
He's very angry about being there. He's very vocal about how he doesn't like being there. Does Sly say this to him? Does he say, "Don't get mentally erect"? Is that what he says?
don't get. First of all, I got to use this because it's amazing. Don't get mentally irregular. It is amazing. I love it when he says that to him. It's really fun. Also, Paulie's racist because as they walk in, he looks at a bunch of black guys and goes, "I don't even have a gun." Yeah. It's like, all right, Paulie.
Well, when he says later, you can train him like a colored fighter, but he ain't got no rhythm.
He yells about jungle music.
Oh, yeah.
He looks and says, "I don't like these people."
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with Paulie in this segment.
Yeah. That's why he can't be, don't be mentally
irregular. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also these guys, like, it's not what Rocky's used to because people aren't crowding around him. Like, just giving him high fives.
No, they're kind of glaring at him. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of dudes that are glaring at him. And that's the whole reason he brought him here. First of all, you fly him across the country. He's not near all those people in his comfort, that just love him regardless. Right. And now he can just train in private.
Yeah.
Out of the limelight.
Right. And yeah, here we go. This is part of it. But here's what the first half of training doesn't go so well. No, most of the second half doesn't go so well. Well, there's a turnaround, though.
Badly for him.
There's a turnaround that happens because in the beginning,
yes, there is.
Again, you had mentioned this earlier. Part of Apollo's training technique is to get him to have endurance and stamina. So going for long runs on the beach, going for swims in an Olympic-sized pool, and when he's first swimming, Rock could barely stay afloat.
For all the horrible racism and lines that they give to Paulie here, it's a great line when Carl Weathers says, "Can he swim?" And Paulie goes, "His name's Rock." Pretty great. Yeah, and he has a tough time. And then he has a tough time. Apollo's doing some kind of punching practice in the ring. And he's just beating him up. He's just letting him beat him up. A lot of flashbacks. Yeah, a lot of flashbacks to the face falling down. To Mick dying and him getting beat up, and he kind of just gives up at that. He's all in his head. He's replaying what's been. And now that we come to this run on this beach, I love it how they're all there. So like it's just Apollo and Rocky that are gonna run. Can we talk for 3 hours about Apollo's short shorts and half shirt that he's wearing? It's a great look. It's a great look. Those thighs are solid when he runs. There's no jiggle. No, it's solid. It's in slow motion, and you watch those two dudes run with just solid thighs. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, the slow-mo run is not so flattering for old Sly's face sometimes, because the running and the slow-mo-ness of his... Again, the bodies don't move. The muscles are firm. But, yeah. I was wondering how much of those facial things he's doing on purpose. On purpose to like show how effortful it all is. But this first run on the beach does not go well. The flashbacks continue, and I love it. You could even have Adrian in slow motion going, "Come on." I'm glad you found that funny, and I could remind you of that. The moment I saw it, I was like, I better write this in my notes. This is crazy. It's pretty great. I just love that they're all there to watch it, to like watch these two run, and I love it. Slow motion, come on. Apollo gets to the end, the finish line, and Rocky just stopped. He just stopped, and he's staring at the ocean. What a baby! I can't believe he just gave up. And Apollo's like, "Well, that's over." Yeah, all Apollo's right. Like, "You know what? It was a good run. What lasted?" I can't with this guy. I cannot with this guy. Is what Apollo's saying basically. He's like, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have the hot in him. So I'm out. Yep. And basically, I think Rocky was just staring at the ocean, and that's when the yelling match happened. So Adrian goes up to him, and they have a nice conversation, but they're just yelling at each other. Finally gets something to do in this movie. Mm-hmm. I really do appreciate the fact that she does say very early on in her pep talk, whatever it is, she's like, "If you want to quit, I would be thrilled with that. Like, I would be so happy if you decide to hang it up. Mm-hmm. And then she goes on to convince him to keep going. But I'm like, well, it's a very honest thing because, yeah, I mean, not to bring it into modern times, but, Tom Brady and Giselle, like, stop playing football, Tom. Like, maybe just hang it up at some point, and your family would be very appreciative of that. Mm-hmm. So I do think it's nice that they brought that in to the conversation, but she does sort of turn him around. She's the one he needed. He didn't need Mick. He didn't need Apollo. No. Like, she's the one that actually gets him to figure out what it is that he actually wants.
She gets to the bottom of things. She keeps repeating, what is it? What's the truth? Tell me the truth. What is the real problem here? Yep. And basically, that's when
sometimes a hot guy just has to say he's scared.
He's afraid.
It's great.
He's so afraid. Turn on. It is. When a hot guy says it. But yeah, how did you get to? Oh, this was funny. Sorry, I'm reading into my notes a bit. So yeah, he also doesn't believe in himself, but that's not really what it is. It's and he says at the end, "How'd you get so tough?" And she tells him, "It's because I live with a fighter." Mm-hmm. That's the line I read. Anyway, this is what he needed. Like you said, this is the pep talk he needed.
And then she walked off set, and they handed her an envelope full of money, and she's like, "Can I just sit in a chair now for the rest of this movie?"
Yeah, happily, yeah.
Great.
Now we have a whole different montage of training because
he can dance now.
Yeah,
he can dance. He can dance in the ring. That's important.
Yeah. Well, that was a whole thing that they went over. They wanted him to be light on his feet because it's important to and he does, because when they're in that fight and he's ducking all those punches, I'm like, this is where this is coming in handy. Exactly. But yeah, he does a little dancing montage. He does a fun jump roping montage, and again, we have another lovely run together where they excitedly hug and cheer for
say excitedly hug. I only imagine Carl Weathers going up to Sly being like, so in this scene, like, we just jump around in the water and hug each other a few times. All right,
because we did it.
You're gonna put it in slow motion. Okay, all right, that's a great idea.
And it is. It's so we see these two bond in a beautiful way.
Multiple times. It's just a single shot of them hugging, unhugging, hugging again, unhugging, hugging, arms in the air, jumping around.
Triumphant hugs. Joyful hugs.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And
but
takes this from here on. Their relationship is a whole nother level. Did you notice when he's in the ring and they're getting ready for the fight? I don't know if you noticed this, but I was like, "Is that so?" There's a close up right between Mr. T and Rocky because they're like in each other's face and the fight's about to happen, and you can see Apollo's hand is just gently swirling and rubbing on Rocky's shoulder the whole time. I was like, is that Apollo giving him a little back rub?
You need a rub down.
Yeah.
Rub down is said in this movie multiple times. I guess it's super important for boxers to be rubbed down.
It should be. Their body gets all those. Loose. Yeah. I just thought it was funny. You could see his little Apollo hand just like.
Really, it's and I have seen memes about that hug in the ocean.
Oh, yeah,
it is wonderful.
It is.
Oh.
It's lovely.
This is when T is being interviewed right before the fight.
This is when we get the I pity the fool.
We get I pity the fool in prediction pain. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh. And this is also, I believe Rocky is fully dressed for this fight.
Yeah.
Perhaps already has gloves on. And Carl Weathers is like, you want to wear my American flag trunks?
I did think, because I also was like, are you guys even the same size? Like, is that...
No, not at all. I also expected him to go, let's say that in a few years, I fight a Russian and die in the ring. I'd like to be buried in these trunks if that's possible.
I found it interesting when he's like, make sure you clean them before you give them back. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a sweet... I guess, exchange of trunks that, like you said, I guess full wardrobe change now. Rock's like, all right, I'll take them, but Jesus, and I got to change everything. And this is a nice thing to remember. Apollo says, I'm proud of you. It takes a hell of a man to change. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. before the fight, Clubber is out for blood. He's even picking a fight with Apollo before the fight really starts, right?
Well, before this is where we get...
Oh, the announcers that are all googly? Yeah.
These elderly announcers saying, look at the tautness in his body and how sleek he looks. That guy's fucking hot, man.
Yeah.
Look at that man.
Yeah.
Look at Mr. T coming in right now.
Yeah.
They
can't get over because it's true. Oh. There's a whole new training method behind Rock, and he's slimmed down. He's gone from just above 200. Yes. He's 191 is his weight for this. They even say he looks more like a middleweight boxer than a heavyweight boxer. Woo-wee.
Oh, woo-wee is right. Also, great lines. I have to tell you, this is fantastic. When they stand in the middle of the ring and the announcer gets them to fight, Mr. T saying, I'm going to bust you up, is awesome. And Rocky saying, go for it, is even better.
Even better, yeah.
That's a great exchange in this movie. And for some reason, I must break you, or I will break you, or whatever it is that Dolph says in that fourth one. Everyone knows that line. How does nobody know I'm going to bust you up? Go for it. That is great.
It is pretty great. I agree. I'm going to bust you up. Go for it. He does a lot of egging him on, Rocky, in this whole match.
Oh, your mother hits harder than
that.
All right. Okay. And you don't look good, but all right.
All right. Well, how many rounds do we have for this fight? Round 1 is when Paulie gets spit on. So if you wanted to rewatch it and see.
I think it's 3 rounds is the entire fight.
Yeah. So round 1, he's feeling good, Rocky. Rocky feels good through most of this.
Oh, yeah. This is not a sweat for Rocky. No. Even in times where he's really being pounded, you get no sense that there's any danger at all. I don't know if that's a theme for Rocky, but
it helps to carry him through the fight. Yeah, right. No, he's even when he gets back in the corner, they're like, he's really getting you. And this is when he has his theory about wearing him out. And Apollo doesn't necessarily agree with the theory. He's like, I don't know that that's your best bet. Like, you're going to take a brutal beating from this guy.
No, Apollo doesn't know, but thankfully for the audience, we then see Mr. T going, so we understand what's happening.
Yeah. But this is Rocky's really egging him on. Hit me harder. Come on. Rocky's incredible because he's learned about the fancy footwork. He's ducking punches, and then he's really going for it. This is my notes for the fight. And then Rocky wins.
These are better than mine, which is Rocky gets hit a lot and then wins.
And then, he does. He wins. And then, So he wins. He's triumphant.
He eventually beats him up. Wins the fight.
Oh, he gets a knockdown. He knocks him down. It's a KO.
It's a big Yo Adrian moment, as is the case with these movies.
But like we said, his face, he has been beaten the freak out of, but his face is pretty much barely any sweat, fine. Definitely no blood or limited blood. Maybe at the eyes are not swollen. He's just like, whew, that was great.
Yeah,
he's like refreshed.
Looks like he didn't get a full 8 hours of sleep. No. Maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it.
And to be fair, this had to feel good, right? This is proving to himself that he can do this, that he's a man that can change, that his career was not over, that even though he was assuming that these fights had been rigged, he still has the power to beat an awesome maniac of a fighter that is Clubber, a.k.a. Mr. T. I
still see good things in Mr. T's future. This is a fluke.
Yeah.
I think he'll still be a great fighter.
Agreed.
And after Rocky retires, maybe he can regain that heavyweight title at some point.
Right. So there's more to come.
What happens if a fighter who is the champion retires? Who's then the champion?
Well, then they have to have a match up, right? Between the next 2 best ones, I guess.
Oh, I guess. Okay. All right.
Right? Can you retire and then not have to defend your title?
So you're saying it'll be Mr. T versus Hulk Hogan?
Yeah. Pretty great. Pretty great.
All right.
Well, after the win.
So he wins. And we're all happy. Hey, great. I guess it's the end of the movie. No, did we all forget about the deal that he, or the favor that he owes
There's a favor coming his way. There is a favor. And
it's super adorable. Like, it's very cute. I really do love how this movie ends, because the deal is that they're gonna fight again, but alone. No one's around. No nothing. Just the two of them duking it out.
Yep. With their crotch protection on.
Giant diaper crotch protectors on.
Yep. Because now mostly I see the fighting happens with the head and the face, but this might be in case they want to get real low and just really fight dirty. But they're protected. And
do you think it's the two of them being like, you're a pretty dirty fighter, and I guess I am too, so maybe we should wear these?
Let's wear these.
In the heat of the moment, I might get too jazzed up.
There's no wrap boxing around, your so crotch.
I'm kick you in the balls as much as I can. Why? Why are they doing this? This is a friendly competition, I assume.
I don't know.
It's a great ending too, because they do just circle and talk to each other, and then they go in for the punches. And freeze frame.
That's the freeze
we're
frame.
Out.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Rocky 3
Rocky
for you.
3. I feel like we see him once a year, but I feel like because we haven't seen Rocky in 7 years, it seems like it's been a long time.
Yeah, it feels good though. I want to say. I mean, you can't not watch a Rocky movie and feel good at the end. And I mean, maybe because I haven't seen the whole. All of them, the later ones, but definitely these early ones they're good. They're good time. They're a good time. It's a great movie.
Yeah. I feel the same way. They're all, and again, it's 2 is cloudy. I don't really remember it, and I know I saw 5 and I didn't like it. I've heard good things about Creed. I haven't watched it. I will probably never watch it. I honestly don't care. Even though this was enjoyable, I don't care enough to keep watching it. But I appreciate that they're, at least the 2 we watched, and I'm thinking about the first one, they're very different movies about boxing, which is, I think, a very difficult thing to do. I don't know how you just keep making sequels for a boxing movie and make them feel different. Yes, at the end he wins. Yes, he overcomes the odds, blah, 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 in each of them. But everything in between is original.
Yeah.
And
it's got a little newness to it.
Yeah. So I enjoyed. I don't know. Do we have to tell people to watch more Stallone movies? Watch more Stallone movies.
It's good for you.
Yeah. All right. Wow. All right. That's
a slice giving.
Another holiday, great holiday over.
Yeah.
I believe that we're going to stay in sequel town though, because next time we do a Sly Stallone movie, I think we're doing the second Rambo movie.
Ah, so we stay in sequel town. I like it.
We're not leaving that.
I forget. Is this recommendations? Because I have one.
Recommendations. Do it. Yeah,
I'm going to take it. Okay, so I mentioned it at the beginning when we were talking about the flashbacks, and there's a little bit of Stallone or Rocky on the Muppet Show. So there is a wonderful episode where Sylvester Stallone is on the Muppet Show, and it is fantastic. And I think it's on Amazon, where the Muppet Show is, like, all the old episodes are up there and on. I'm pretty sure.
And that's what this segment is taken from?
It's from his actual guest star appearance on the Muppet Show. So I mean, I had kind of a movie recommendation, but then I remembered that I was like, oh no, we watched it. I don't know. It was a while ago where we found maybe it's Netflix. I don't know. One of them have all the old Muppet Show episodes, and we went for the one with Sly, and it's wonderful. It's really a good episode. So check it out. Yeah,
I'm sure it'd be great. We have seen that Sly can do anything.
Yeah.
And acting with puppets is something I kind of want to see.
You do want to see
it. But to say that it's good doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
All right. My recommendation is pretty stupid. It has nothing to do with this movie. I feel bad. For some reason, I was flipping around one day, and I've heard really good things about the Zack Snyder remake of Dawn of the Dead from 2004.
Oh, okay.
I'd never seen it. I watched it. It was terrible.
Oh, it's not good. So why are you recommending it?
It's it's got this like 2000s stink all over it. It's got like terrible new metal music and filters over the whole movie, like green, gross filters. It's disgusting. But it did cause me to go back and watch the original 1978 Dawn of the Dead, which is still amazing.
So that's what your recommendation is?
I guess it's like a Pennsylvania movie, so we'll call it that. And it's such a fun, stupid movie about people being trapped in a mall when zombies are outside. And by the time you get to the point in the movie where a gang of bikers rides around the mall and smashes pies in the face of zombies, it's an amazing movie. Everyone should watch it. It's super great. So that's my dumb recommendation.
Let it be dumb. It's a recommendation. That's great. Yes.
But let's talk about December.
Yeah, here it comes.
Now December is our theme month. Jamie, you know that. Mm-hmm. We try and tie it in with themes. And I was really trying to think, like, okay, there's a lot of different themes we could do. We did a whole Jamie Lee-cember. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of waiting to do a December Wallace. Maybe we'll do Cujo or something like that for that. And E.T. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
But it's also going to be our 200th episode.
You stop that right now. 200.
Not the next one.
The one
That'll
after.
199. Yeah. But 200's right after that, falling in December. And Jamie, we've talked about some Star Treks. But I realized that there are 2 Star Warses.
Oh, wow.
That we can cover because they were in the 80s.
Well, happy holidays.
Yes. So our next episode will be The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh.
And then after that, we will do Return of the Jedi.
Whoa.
200th episode.
Wow. All right. I'm writing these down lest I forget.
Yes. And I'm still on the fence for what we're going to do. We do a bonus episode in December. There is a December episode called the Star Wars Holiday Special that George Lucas has renounced because it was such dog shit.
Oh, is it claymation? That's the only thing that can...
it's live action, and there is a scene where oh no, I can't think of her name from the Golden Girls. Who's the main Golden Girl? The head Golden Girl, tall.
B. Arthur.
B. Arthur is in it,
and
she sings a song. So there's something about that makes me kind of want to watch it. So maybe, and it is from like 1979, but it might be our special. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
But that might be the bonus episode, just so we can keep and just flush out all the Star Wars.
All the Star Wars coming at you. All right.
But yeah, that'll be our next episode.
Great.
Oh, all right.
Wow, double
Jamie,
whammy.
Are you familiar with the Star Wars universe?
I am. It'll be interesting when we talk. Yeah. Because
you know what a Chewbacca is.
I do. Okay. Yeah. Okay. These are big movies, though, for us to cover. They're 2.
I know. Yeah. I kind of. Yeah. Let's do some. It's 200.
It's time. Hey, 200. Go big or go home.
I understand. For 100, we did Mac and Me, which is huge. But so I know we're going down a little bit, but not entirely.
I love it.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening to this really, really long. I'm surprised how long we talked about Rocky 3, but
I could talk about Sly forever.
I think I could too.
Yeah.
I can't wait till next Sly's coming.
Me too. I know, it's the best holiday around.
I get kind of sad that we have to avoid him for an entire year.
I know. Yeah, but that makes it all worth it, right?
It really does.
It does.
Yeah. All right, everybody. All right. Until we talk to you in 2 weeks, have a great 2 weeks.
Take care. Take care.